For an induction motor, rotor speed is always less than synchronous. So this will help us to define the concept of a slip. Now after considering this, now we are in a position to compare an induction motor with a transformer. So let us try to do that, and then we'll see what about the frequency of induced EMF. If I try to do the comparison between an induction motor and a transformer, so let us say on this side I am going to write the points related to the transformer, and on this side I am going to write down the points related to an induction motor. So in case of a transformer, there are primary winding and secondary windings. In case of an induction motor, there is a stator and there is a rotor. So stator is equivalent to the primary winding of a transformer, rotor is equivalent to the secondary winding of the transformer. In case of a transformer, there is a magnetic core that carries the necessary flux produced by the primary winding. In case of an induction motor, it is an energy conversion device. I cannot have a solid structure somewhat like a magnetic core, but there is an air gap between the two. So this you can consider as the difference between a transformer and an induction motor. Third important thing in case of transformer is that the frequency of the EMF induced in the primary winding is exactly equal to the frequency of EMF induced in the secondary winding, and this is how we have defined the transformer. It is a static device that transfers energy from one circuit, that is primary circuit, to the secondary circuit without making any change in the frequency. Now frequency, it is dependent upon time. So here we can say that in case of a transformer, primary and secondary windings, or the EMF and the current induced in the primary winding and in the secondary winding, they do have the same frequency. However, in case of an induction motor, I can say the frequency of stator supply is not equal to the frequency of rotor EMF or rotor current. So now we have to find out the relationship between these two frequencies. As we are saying that these two frequencies are not equal, then how are they related? So that is one more question that we have to answer at this particular stage. So this is how you can do the comparison between an induction motor and a transformer. Let us try to develop this particular relationship. That is the relationship between the frequencies of stator and frequencies of rotor. So some short answer questions are also sometimes asked based upon this particular concept. So to develop the relationship between the stator frequency and the rotor frequency. So for this purpose, we need to assume that let small f suffixes as stator supply frequency in hertz and Fr as frequency of rotor circuit again in hertz. So I have to develop relationship between Fr and my Fs. So to develop this relationship, again we are going to assume two conditions. In the first case, we will assume the rotor is stationary. So this is also called as standstill condition. Please make yourself comfortable with this particular term, because everywhere here onwards we are going to say the rotor it is at standstill. So if my rotor it is at standstill, you may recall the expression for speed, that is ns is equal to 120 fs upon T. Purposely here I have used the symbol as Fs because this is the expression for speed of my rotating magnetic field. So if I readjust this, then I can express my Fs as P into Ns upon 2. I need to consider the speed in RPS, and therefore this equation I have to divide it by 60. That will give me one more equation for my stator supply frequency. Fs is equal to P Ns by 2. Now for rotor frequency, as I have assumed rotor it is at standstill, that means rotor speed is going to be equal to 0. So frequency of rotor circuit, that is Fr, it is proportional or it is equal to the relative speed between my stator magnetic field and the speed of my rotor conductors. So here I can write down Fr is equal to small ns minus small nr, again divided by 2. So as nr is equal to 0 in this case, sorry, not 2, P should be there. So Fr is equal to P times ns minus nr upon 2. So if I substitute the values of nr, then this will be ns minus 0 upon 2, that is equal to P ns upon 2. So if you look at these two equations, you will see that when the rotor it is standstill, then frequency of rotor circuit and frequency of my stator circuit, they are exactly same. That is Fr is equal to Fs. It is applicable when the rotor it is at standstill. The another part of this, because no one will use an induction motor to keep it in idle condition. That means we have to put that induction motor to do some useful work. So when I try to do that, nr will no longer remain equal to 0. So that means now we can develop this particular concept for any running condition. So let us say now I want to find out the relationship between Fr and Fs under any running condition. Let us assume that your induction motor is rotating with some slip S. Now how we have defined S? S is equal to either capital Ns minus Nr upon Ns, or I can rewrite the same equation in speeds in RPS, that is small ns minus small nr upon small ns. So once again we have already developed this equation. Stator frequency, it is given by this particular equation, that is Fs is equal to P ns upon 2. Frequency of my rotor circuit, now I can rewrite this as P into ns minus nr again upon 2. If I multiply this equation and divide this equation by ns, then how I can write on this? Is it mathematically correct? I have divided and multiplied this expression for my Fr by ns. So there is no mathematical change. What is the benefit I am going to get because of this particular adjustment? Now I can adjust this equation. I will write it over here. So what I did just now, this is the original equation for my rotor frequency. I have multiplied this equation by ns, and at the same time I have divided it also by ns. So now if I rearrange this equation somewhat like this, now what is this? This is nothing but my Fs. And what is this? This is the expression for my slip. So it is S into Fs. So under any running condition, I can say that frequency of rotor circuit, that is frequency of rotor induced EMF and frequency of rotor induced current, it is S into Fs. So this is the most important equation that you have to remember always. So and this is the main difference between a transformer and an induction motor. You may recall the difference which I have written already over here. In case of a transformer, frequency of the secondary and frequency of the primary, they are exactly same. That is, transformer does not change the frequency of primary side and the frequency of secondary side. However, in case of an induction motor, the frequency of rotor circuit is no longer going to remain equal to the frequency of stator side unless and until rotor is kept at standstill or at stationary condition. So this is the most important equation that you need to remember always. Okay, so is it clear to all of you? I hope so. Now after considering this, before proceeding further, we need to develop the torque equation for an induction motor. So let us try to do that first and then we'll proceed further with the concept of equivalent circuit. So the next article, which we call as the torque equation, that is very important, because if you refer any of the question paper, you will observe that majority of the numericals which are asked on an induction motor, these are based upon the concept of torque equation. So the next article that we are going to consider is the torque equation. This is very much important. Now at this stage, I request you to recall the equation for torque in case of a DC motor. So in case of a DC motor, the torque is equal to EB into IA. Now what is this EB? EB, it is the back EMF induced or produced inside the armature, and IA, it is the armature current. So the equation for an induction motor, it is also based somewhat on this particular equation. Only difference is, now I cannot have back EMF and armature current. The armature, it is replaced by my rotor, and therefore if I recall the nomenclature that we already used for a transformer, all the quantities on primary side, either it is your voltage, your current, your self-induced EMF in the primary, resistance and reactance of the primary, they do carry suffix 1, whereas all the quantities on the secondary side, they do have the suffix as 2. So same nomenclature is used in case of an induction motor also. Only difference is, instead of primary, now I have to write down these as the stator side quantities, whereas instead of secondary, I have to call them as the quantities related to my rotor. So now instead of back EMF, I can replace this by my rotor induced EMF E2. Instead of IA, I can replace it by rotor induced current, that is I2. However, along with these two, there is one more quantity gets added, that is the operating power factor, because now we are dealing with an AC system or AC machine. So the equation for torque in case of my induction motor, it is given as E2 I2 cos phi 2. So not equal to, proportional to. So we need to define what is the meaning of each and every symbol involved in this particular equation. So let us try to make list of all those symbols. So E2, I will call it as rotor induced EMF at standstill. I2 as rotor induced current again at standstill. R2 rotor resistance per phase in ohm. X2 it is rotor reactance per phase, again in ohm but at standstill. So here I have written it is at standstill, but here I have not written for the resistance. The reason behind this is the value of the rotor resistance, it is independent of rotor frequency, which is not the case in case of your reactance. So reactance, it is normally given as X is equal to 2 pi F into L. So as I am talking about the rotor side reactance, and all the quantities except this resistance I have defined them at standstill. So I can write down the expression for my rotor reactance as 2 pi Fr into L2, where L2 it is the rotor circuit inductance. So we are doing all this study at standstill condition, and we know what is Fr. At standstill, Fr is equal to Fs, and therefore there will not be any change. Sorry, I have to mention at which condition I have expressed the rotor reactance. As it is expressed at standstill, I can replace Fr by Fs, and therefore for reactance I have defined it is rotor reactance per phase in ohm at standstill. So these are a few symbols. Along with this, two more symbols I have to consider. First symbol is Z2. It is rotor impedance per phase in ohm at standstill, which is equal to square root of R2 square plus X2 square, and next symbol is the power factor cos phi 2. So this is the symbol for my rotor power factor. Now after considering all these things, let us try to develop the torque equation for our induction motor at standstill condition. So the original equation for my torque at standstill, it is Te is proportional to E2 I2 cos phi 2. So it will be E2 instead of I2. I can write down this as EMF upon the impedance, that is Z2. Instead of cos phi 2, I can write down this as R2 upon Z2. So if I proceed further on the same line, I will get this as E2 square R2 upon Z2 square, that is E2 square R2 upon R2 square plus X2 square. So is it clear? So the electromagnetic torque produced in case of an induction motor at standstill is given as 1 over 2 pi ns multiplied by E2 square R2 upon R2 square plus X2 square. So this is the most important equation for the entire analysis of a 3-phase induction motor. Please remember this equation for torque, we have developed it on per phase basis, because all the quantities involved over here in this particular side, these are expressed on per phase basis, and therefore this will give me the torque on per phase basis. If I want to get the total torque developed by a 3-phase induction motor, then I have to multiply this entire equation by 3. So if I do that, I can write down this equation as torque is equal to 3 over 2 pi ns multiplied by E2 square R2 upon R2 square plus X2 square. Unit will be Newton meter. So please remember this, because many times you people make a mistake over here. you do calculate the torque correctly up to this particular stage, but you forget to multiply it by 3. So this is the actual equation for torque at standstill based on 3-phase basis. However, this will give me only the torque, electromagnetic torque at standstill condition. But what will be the expression for my torque under running condition? That is the next point or next thing we have to do. So is it clear to all of you how we can develop the equation for torque for a 3-phase induction motor at standstill? If this point is clear, then we can easily obtain the equation for torque under running condition. So now we will proceed further with torque equation under running condition.